I really don't know why people keep confusing me and Bruce. I mean, seriously, we are two totally different actors. Look, the cat wears a yellow jumpsuit on the big screen. I'm always wearing a blue one. He's Bruce Lee, I'm Breeze Lou. It's kind of like Pepsi and Coke. I can guarantee you one thing. Anyone who's ever taken that Pepsi challenge, you can definitely taste the difference.
Bruce Lee's impact on Kung Fu cinema was meteoric, and that impact still reverberates even today, not only in Kung Fu cinema, but in countless other mediums as well.
How do you like that?
When one so much as hears his name, two distinct images enter that person's head. The intimidating pose he strikes within the fights, and the explosive roar he emits when attacking. Across the globe and across genres, his stance is replicated by individuals we're supposed to see as especially strong. Whether it's Chinese, Korean, Thai, American, drama or comedy, live action, animation, even video games and television shows feature characters replicating Bruce Lee's famous fighting stance, using his mythic image to convey a message about their characters. Of course, no one can see a statuesque pose, ready to burst into action without thinking of the yell that accompanies that action. Just the as he attacks, immediately conjures an image in the viewer's minds of the incomparable Kung Fu machine about to wreak havoc on a room full of opponents. Whether yelled by an autistic girl who learned to fight from watching his movies, a nerd who infused himself with Bruce Lee's essence, a post-apocalyptic Japanese cartoon character who can kill with a fingertip, a Korean high school student in the late 70s, or a vindictive yuppie karate teacher, the yell and the man that yell represents remain the same. Of course, Bruce Lee's yell isn't the only vocalization of his that's seen elsewhere. There's one other that really only appears in a comedic context.
Hello, Mr. Lee. My name's Braithwaite.
Hello, Mr. Braithwaite. What was that? An exhibition? We need emotional content. Try again. I said emotional content, not anger. Now try again.
It didn't take long for American viewers of Bruce Lee to notice a certain peculiarity in his speech.
This is Butkus, Clown's bodyguard. He is tough and ruthless. This is Kwong, Clown's chauffeur. He's rough and toothless. We need someone to find an uncharted mountain, defeat an army of deadly killers, and come back with Ada Grump.
I know just the man.
In the Kentucky Fried Movie's feature presentation, A Fistful of Yen, Mr. Liu, a Bruce Lee parody, speaks with a very exaggerated version of Bruce Lee's accent.
What was that? This is not a charade. We need total concentration. Now, once again, this time, we feel it.
Also, in an episode of the sitcom Family Matters, in which Steve Urkel uses a machine to turn himself into Bruce Lee to fight a group of thugs, looking, yelling, and fighting like Bruce Lee wasn't enough to convince the audience that he had the fighting spirit of Bruce Lee within him.
You are getting swole in your old age.
He, as well, spoke with the slightly impeded speech Bruce has become known for.
Cashews, my favorite. These guys insulted you. If they apologize, there will be no fighting.
And if they don't apologize?
It won't be pretty. No one messes with War Winsworth.
To conclude, there are many ways a kung fu filmmaker can increase the effect of his fight sequences on the viewer, and those involved in the making of those films can develop lasting styles that can be clearly distinguished as their own. Using camera work to increase tension, creative editing to tell a story taking place beneath the surface, and avoiding editing to show an actor's skill are important elements used by many filmmakers across all of kung fu cinema. But elements like Yuen Woo-ping's handicapped fight sequences, wide-scale property destruction, and abundant use of dust, and Bruce Lee's fighting stance, battle cry, and accent are features that, while sometimes used by others, stand out as distinct to those two particular individuals. I hope that this has brought to your attention certain elements you may not have noticed in kung fu cinema before, and encouraged you to look for them in kung fu films you may see in the future.